Hi, sorry, didn't see the act natural, you know. No. What am I doing? I don't even know. Anyway, hi, I'm Hani, welcome, and I don't know what else to say at the beginning of a video. I don't even know what this video is gonna be yet, maybe like an update video because I don't really have a plan for a video. I have some plans for future videos in my head, but I didn't have any time to plan them out yet. And why that is, I'm gonna tell you now. Okay, so if you didn't know, I am in Ireland right now and I'm gonna stay here for 9 months, which is a pretty decent time, I guess, for staying out of your own country and in a completely different country with a completely different family, working a completely different job from what your student life was like. I'm here as an au pair. I wanted to be an au pair because essentially of two reasons. The first one was that I always wanted to live abroad for a period of time in my whole life. Like I wanted to do a high school year somewhere else, but that wasn't possible because my parents were like, no, you gotta finish your school first. And so we agreed on that au pair thing. And the other reason is that I felt like I was too young to go to university. Like I know that's like a cheap excuse, you're not too young to go to university and to learn something. You can always do that at whatever age you are. But the thing is, 18, and I've always been like a young 18 of my class, like I've always been one of the youngest of my class. I feel like I am not ready to, just after I did my A-levels now, just go into university. Especially because what I'm studying is like arts, and I felt like I need this year to reflect on everything and to reflect also on what I want to be like as an artist, what I want to maybe do with my university study as well. I'm gonna take this year basically to just reflect on myself as well and to grow as a person. Before then I can go to university and grow as an individual in our society as well. Anyway, did you notice that I cut my hair a little? Like here it's much shorter than it was. It's still long, I don't know, I just felt like it was time to give it a little chop and I chopped that much off. So in this video I also want to further talk about my struggles of the first week as an au pair. I feel like if you have your family already and you're just waiting for the day you're going to leave for the other country, it's always like, oh, there's still so much time, oh, I still need to do that. And in the moment you sit on the plane, you're like, wow, I'm really doing this. And then you touch the ground and you're like, wow, I'm really doing this. And then you go home with the family and you lie in your bed, in your new bed now for the first time, and you're like, wow, I'm really here. I'm really doing this. So today I'm here for exactly 1 week. So I'm gonna tell you about my first week. I'm not going to talk about my family life here because I feel like that's different for every au pair as well. I'm going to talk about the struggles that I think everyone will face when they go into a different country, whether it will be as an au pair or work and travel. If you're going to another country alone, what struggles are you going to face? Struggle number one, you're going to face some cultural struggles, and that might differ from where you go. For me, Ireland isn't too much of like the Western culture of Germany. Of course, I'm not having like major culture shock here. Everything's pretty much the same, but I did notice just some differences that are a little like, just a little off, you know, from your daily routine, from what you're used to do, what you used to know, you know. Everything's just a little tiny bit off, and that makes you remember that you are indeed in a different country. Okay, so I'm going to talk about small culture shocks quickly here, even though I want to make a whole video about maybe culture shock in Ireland when I've been here for some more time and I understand the culture a bit more. But one of the funniest things that happened to me was like every time I came up in the morning, for example, in the kitchen, and my host father came down, he asked me like, how are ya? And I was like, oh, he's asking me, how are you? So I always answered with, I'm fine. And then when I went into the city and bought some stuff at different shops, everybody at the shop cashier was always like, how ya? How ya? And I was like, are they all asking me, how are you? And I was like, I'm fine, hi. And like I answered the question, how are you? But then one time I was at a cashier and an old woman paid before me. And the cashier said to the old woman, how are ya? And the old woman said back, how are ya? Like that. And she didn't say I'm fine or something. And that was when I noticed that this how are ya isn't meant as a how are you? It's meant as a hi. And I was always answering it with, I'm fine. Like everybody must have thought I'm so stupid. Like, girl, I'm just saying hi, I don't want to know your emotional state. But yeah, I just thought that it was a very, very funny culture shock for me. And if anybody greets you in Ireland with how are ya, that means like just hi, just say it back, just say how are ya as well. And don't say I'm fine, because then you'll look stupid like me. Okay, and for another thing I want to talk about is the biggest struggle that comes with leaving for a different country. And the biggest struggle, I think, is that you will feel so damn alone, because you are. Essentially, you are completely on your own here in this country, you know? You know nobody here. You essentially don't speak the language of the locals, even though like I speak English, of course, but I mean like it's a different life. You haven't lived the lives that the locals lived here. And you don't have your friends or family at your side. Of course you can text them, but I'll tell you, if you text them a lot, like too much, then you'll get a little homesick, essentially. Like I don't ever really get homesick, I just kind of miss persons sometimes. And the first time here I really cried was when I just wrote my mom something on WhatsApp, because it's like just got to me that I can't just go to my mom and ask her like this thing that I wanted to write her over WhatsApp. She's just miles and miles away, you know? She's thousands of miles away. I just can't go through a door and say like, hi mom, hugging, give me a hug. Did you hear about that and that, you know? You need to make an appointment over WhatsApp to Skype, and to go out of your way, that kind of gets to you, because you're like, well, I can't really touch that person now. They're far away. And I'm here on my own, and nobody here can really touch me because they don't know me like the person that know you at home. So I think that was essentially the worst thing for me, and especially because I came here at a time where not many au pairs are here yet. Like all of the au pairs usually start in September, and I started early August. Like I'm completely on my own. I'm going to get to know people in September, of course. I already scheduled some meetings with other au pairs, and I'm really looking forward to that, because like making friends is so important, and essentially making friends is really hard if you're in a different country, because what are you going to do? You're not going to go up to somebody on the street and say like, hey, how are you? You want to make friends or something? No, that's just not how making friends works, especially if you're like socially anxious like me. That was the worst part. I was always just like, okay, how can I avoid that and that social interaction, you know? If you think like that, you're never going to get anywhere. I thought about it a lot, you know? I have a lot of time here, a lot of time to myself, a lot of time where I can also reflect by myself, you know? I'm sitting here doing nothing, I can walk around, I'm always alone, you know? I'm always doing things on my own, other than when I'm with my host family, of course, but that's just a fraction of the day. And the other time I'm completely on my own always. And I thought about this being alone like a lot, and I thought, is it like a bad thing? Did I make a mistake by coming here? Shouldn't I have become an au pair because like you're just by yourself, like you don't have all these people that you love so dearly beside you? And I thought about it a lot, and I came to the conclusion that it's not a bad thing and I shouldn't worry about it too much. Because the thing is, in this time that I have completely to myself, I can also grow with myself. I can grow with being in my own presence. And this is essentially time of the day that you don't really have when you're always at home, meeting people you know, talking to people you know. You don't really have this time where you're completely cut off. And the nearest person to myself is me right now. My closest thing that can help me here is me. I need to do everything by myself and with myself. And this realization, I think, is very important if you come here, and you won't have it like the first few days. The first few days were worse. I remember going to Dublin all by myself, and I walked through the streets all by myself, and I sat in a restaurant all by myself, and I was like, that's so sad. Like, I wish that and that person was there. I wish I could talk to that and that person. But like the longer you spend time with yourself, you come to the realization that it's not that bad, you know? I mean, it's just time to grow. That's how I look at it now. I look at it as I'm taking this time that I have with myself to grow, and to make myself a better person and to learn things. And I think it's important that you look at it in that way, because if you look at it like just, I'm so lonely, and if you just desperately are in your own world all the time and you're crying and you're like, nobody's here, I'm so lonely, then you're not going to have a good time. And if you take a year off, then you should also take a year off to have a good time, because what else is life for than having a good time? If you always have a bad time, if you're always crying, then it's not a good time for you and you're wasting time of your life. So yeah, now when I go out by myself or just go for a walk and everything, I don't feel like lonely anymore. I'm just by myself. Well, that sounds so lonely. Everybody watching is like, she's such a loner. Oh man, I I hope everything's gonna go better if I meet all the au pair people, because then I have friends. Hopefully I can make friends, because I'm so socially awkward that I wouldn't be surprised if everybody just met me once and they're like, okay, let's all be friends, but her, we just let her out, okay? Yeah, I also have to go to the toilet really quick, so I'm just gonna end this video here. That was TMI, right? I'm sorry. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more videos of me, or if you'd like to see a special video, you can also comment down below, or give this video a like so that I know, and subscribe to my channel, because that would make me really happy, and you can keep updated with this mess that is me and my life. I don't know if you want that though, so you should think about that. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye, be back on my channel.